Warm welcome. This is Markus Termin speaking for the full moon in May, which is the true Walpurgisnacht full moon. So any of your witches out there, get the broom ready for Monday evening when the full moon is really full. It's the moon in between the sun in Taurus and the moon in Scorpio. So both is given the comfort of the Sun in Taurus, the possibility of well-being and feeling comfortable, and then it's also the depths and the psychological adventures with the moon in Scorpio that has company to Lilith, which means that it's deep, deeper and deep. This is a full moon of the balancing out of opposites, because both of the ruling planets of the moon sign, which is Venus for Taurus and Mars for Scorpio, are in a harmonic angle. Venus indeed is slowly moving into the trine to Mars. Both are in fire signs. So this means this is a perfect new start for relationships, for those of you who are living in a couple relationship in between women and men, man and woman. This is a fantastic possibility to get up on a new level, to have deep insights, to have comfortable ease out time together. That's not a bad full moon. This is an interesting full moon for getting ahead, And after all, the level of women and men, this is what also war and peace is about. This is the deepest level that is most interesting in question of society and world movement too. Let's have a look at this full moon to have an understanding from the graphics. You see the moon is here. Lilith is in the sign of Scorpio too. And there is an opposition in between Lilith and Mercury. Mercury in Taurus right now makes an opposition to Lilith. So be careful with anything that, how to handle real estate and business things, Take care for Lilith. On the other hand, Mars is in the sign of Leo. He doesn't make clear aspects except the one to Venus, which is upcoming, which is growing. That means it has tension, it is worthful and anything like that. So this is, in my eyes, a beautiful chart for what is coming throughout the next moon phase. Also, we should remember that this is not the predictive chart for the time that we are actually in. The predictive chart for the time we're actually been is the March full moon in between Virgo and Pisces. Why is that? Because this is the full moon before the cardinal change of the sun. And this full moon is all about the trine in between moon and Uranus in Taurus, and Uranus being in a sextile position, perfect sextile position to the sun too. What does that mean? I didn't put a time in here, so to make it the world horoscope for this full moon section. What does it mean? It means that the real important movements are all in the backgrounds on the financial scale, over this howling and arguing and going back and forth with arguments. The most important book, or the most important thing we are not witnessing, is the meeting of those guys of the Bank of International Trade, blah blah blah. I think it's in Basel. They meet every 2 months, and it's also the Russian central bank in there and everything like that. This is what the movements are about. It's about, are we going to have digital currency in the blockchain system, or will the technique fail and we're going back to a gold standard world that is worth living in it? Thank you very much for listening. This is Markus Termin. Oh, last, not to forget, the next predictive full moon. I wanted to say a word about that, which is going to be the full moon in between, we are not there yet, in between the sun in Gemini and the moon in the sign of Sagittarius. We will have that at the 11th of June. This is going to be the predictive full moon for the summer phase in the northern hemisphere, of course. And what is that? What is the most important thing here? The most important thing here will be the conjunction of Neptune and Saturn, hold it a little bit closer, in the sign of Aries, and the square position in between Jupiter and Saturn. This is going to be the last of several square positions in this Jupiter-Saturn phase, so it's going to be very important, and Jupiter will be just in the first degree of Cancer, very, very strong. This is actually the peace full moon. This is going to bring peace in the conflict in between Ukraine and Russia, or the European community and Russia, or America and Russia. This is a peace full moon thing, which is actually not bad. Giving this message out, what kind of peace are we going to get? They are ramping up to build 2 blocks again, obviously. You know, the one block is Russia, China, also Brazil, maybe India, because India is weakened, I think, by purpose now of some secret service actions to weaken the other block. You know, this is what they are building up. They are ramping up 2 blocks. But behind that is always the financial structures, which are not divided, but one in common. You know, they have common interests. The common interest is always, how are we keeping the financial system in our hands, which is right now the money from thin air, nothing bullshit stuff they call fiat money, and they have to transfer that into some other kind of system because the depths, how do you say that, of any Western country is rising, and that means they are strangulating themselves, and you know those financial things. Okay, that is what it is about. If you want to have a personal view on your chart, how all of this might impact your personal chart, just get in contact with this mail address. Mind the DE at the end, because you're speaking to or listening to Markus Termin, the genius German astrologer. And down here at my website, you'll at least find some numbers, how much it costs. It's not that expensive. Thank you for listening. This is Markus Termin for the full moon of the 12th of May 2025.